not. Joe Madison's a radio talk show host for XM Satellites, the Power. And Joan Walsh is editor-in-chief of Salon. Joan, your thoughts. I was just reading a quote. I remember quotes. I love to have people dig them up for me, and somebody dug this up for you. This is FDR, one of my heroes. Never speak of rope in the house of a man who has been hanged. I think we shouldn't talk about assassinations in this period of time.
You know, Chris, she chose her words poorly. I wish she had referred to Bobby Kennedy still campaigning in June, because that was her point. I mean, even you, leading into this segment, have suggested that she's keeping her campaign alive because Bobby Kennedy, was assassinated in June. She did not say that, Chris. She was making the point that campaigns have run into June before. It was an unfortunate choice of words, but she is being bloodied for this, and I have no doubt that it came originally somewhat from the Obama campaign. I got the email on Friday from Bill Burton making sure that thousands of reporters saw the remarks and that they construed it in the way he wanted them to. I got the email from the Obama campaign saying that Keith Olbermann's special comment on it. They have used this. There's no doubt about it. But that was later in the evening. That was later in the evening. Certainly they used it, but the Associated Press reported this story pretty much straight. They said, this is how we led our story at Hardball last Friday. I saw the Associated Press. Senator Hillary Clinton referred Friday to the assassination of Robert Kennedy in the 1968 Democratic campaign as a reason she should continue to campaign despite increasingly long odds. That was
wrong. What was wrong about
the
AP story?
That was wrong. She was not using that as the Kennedy assassination as the reason she was staying in. She was making the point that people have campaigned before into June. Jerry Brown did it, and Bobby Kennedy did it. That was her point, and I think it has been deliberately misconstrued, and it's quite outrageous.
Well, I absolutely, totally disagree, because all one has to do is just listen to my show, others' show. There was an immediate, visceral response to what people heard. I began getting emails from just the average listener who said, did you hear what she had said? Now let's take and understand, there's a pattern here. One, this is a man who almost had to have Secret Service protection from the day he announced. Two, the Roswell newspaper has him on the cover in crosshairs of a rifle. Three, you have Hucklebee's joke, which was just outlandish.
It was.
And so I say to you that there is no other candidate that has run for the presidency in this cycle that has had these kinds of comments made, not on the Republican side or the Democratic side. Do you believe that
when she said what she said to the paper out in South Dakota, that she meant to say, I'm staying in this race in case something horrible happens and I'll be there to win? Do you really believe she meant that?
You know, I think... I don't know whether...
Nobody would say that.
You know,
nobody would say that.
Well, look, let me tell you, here's what people are saying.
Yeah.
They're saying the Clintons are desperate, and that they may say anything. These may be code words. Now, the reality is
code
that
words?
Barack Obama...
come on, Joe, you don't believe that. These were not code words. Do you really think these were code words?
Look, did I say I believed it? I said what people are saying.
What do you believe?
Wait a minute. Who's doing the questioning here, you or Chris? The bottom line... The bottom line is I mean what I say and I say what I mean. And that is, I said what people are saying. Whether I believe it or not, I'm sharing with you there was a visceral reaction, and let's get to the crux of our discussion. She's not going to be the vice presidential nominee. She just ruined that opportunity. And this is the other factor, and I'll close there.
Unintended comment.
Yes, and by other things. This, again, there's a pattern. There's a pattern. And I'll tell you the other thing. If this pattern continues, she's going to ruin the Democrats' chances in November.
I'm going to tell you what's going to ruin the Democrats' chances, Joe. If people continue to demonize both Clintons and treat them like monsters, that will ruin the Democrats' chances. Bill Clinton is our only two-term Democratic president in my lifetime. Has he made mistakes? Absolutely. Have I criticized him? Absolutely. Has she made mistakes? Certainly. But to act like she is capable of making a statement like this and summoning up the worst fears and tragedy of our democracy, to act like this woman is capable of that, There'll be people staying home in November if this continues. There really will. It's outrageous.
I think the FDR statement that you led with was very appropriate. Well, anytime you have a single candidate that has been on the front page of a newspaper with and threat, and let me tell you what upsets a lot of people also. She apologized to the Kennedys, which she should have done. Do you know she did not issue an apology to Obama and his family?
She didn't say anything about Obama. Why should she apologize to Obama? She didn't say anything to him.
What do you mean she didn't say? What do you mean
she didn't say anything about Obama? She has nothing to apologize for.
I think if I were her, I would have said, you know, I apologize to the Kennedys, and I am sorry if the Obama family misconstrued what I said. I would have apologized to both.
Do you think it's a good argument for her to make? First of all, everyone knows the primary season is going to end next week. There's really no argument anymore, Joan. It seems to me it's going to play itself out. I don't know who they're arguing with. I don't know anybody saying quit this week. We've got the superdelegates apparently ready to stampede after next Tuesday. Isn't that? What is the argument? What is the argument the former president's making? What is he arguing for?
Chris, I was watching the earlier part of the show. I always watch your whole hour, whether I'm on or not. And you're a passionate person. I love that about you. But I feel like you're forgetting recent history. Our friend Jonathan Alter in February suggested she should get out of the race. That awful conversation between Keith Olbermann and Howard Fineman that Keith had to apologize for was Howard and Keith saying we need a superdelegate to take her into a room and only one of them comes out. People have been trying to push her out of the race literally since February. I know what the president's talking about.
Well, where we do agree is that I don't think she should get out of the race. I
think Jesse would say the question is moot because this thing's going through till next Wednesday. Next Wednesday's going to decide this thing. We're going to know if she wins all three.
It's going to go to August.
Well, we'll see. Thank you very much, Joe Madison. Thank you, Joan.